I'm a big fan of the royalty-free music libraries that's online these days. I'm young, so I understand that they were out for a lot longer time than I remember them. But when I was a teenager, I would always put on the different websites. I'm not going to say their names only because they deal with a lot of issues with their licensing and things. I just want to respect them. I understand what they're going through when they take so many different artists to work and they have to, give it out. So there's a lot of, things that are involved, legal things that are involved when it comes down to that. But some of those like producers on there, like they're to really live for, and they've been a part of my musical DNA since I can remember, like me being a teenager and really being fascinated with the songs that they were creating and thinking that one day this is going to be my space. And just recently, when I was living in California, I walked into a studio, my friend's studio, down in Southern California where I'm living, and we just got back in it. I was just thinking, what would it be if I just picked up like a music kit online somewhere? They run like $3,000 or more, but it didn't even matter. I said this is something that was speaking to my soul ever since I was a kid and I picked up my first instruments. And I felt like this could really be me. But there's so much magic happening in the studio, and I feel like I just belong there. Like we do the vocals, we do everything in there, and I just feel like this is home. Like I'd come home to my house at the end of the day, I'm thinking, do you understand where my voice lives? My voice lives at that studio. And it's just so nice to know that when I was a kid, I was just always was fascinated. I was wanting to make music, with the track and do all the fun things, use all this Ashley brain power to make some magic. And the fact that it was already happening, it was just a matter of time being in the right places. And the best thing about living in California and pursuing things like music is that you're always going to find someone who's at your level of dedication and commitment. You're never going to not see that, and that's really inspiring. It really is. I just absolutely love being at that studio, and um, yeah, I do plan on going back there and making some magic. You guys can tell me what kind of songs you'd like me to create. I love my synth. And I believe it's synth wave. It's a mega genre these days. I think I started out in the early 2010s. I guess everybody was nostalgic for the 80s, including myself, and everybody was like making these synth wave tracks and chill wave, and they have so many different kinds, different kind of subgenres and everything else. And I really could go on and on, but I'd have to look up the kind of genres. But yeah, for a while that they would be all I played. So when I was a kid, I would create my stories, just with just pen and paper, and then cook up some tracks on the site and remix it, do all the cool things with it, and then play out the scene. And I'm thinking this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to combine visuals with storytelling, along with the music, of course. So they would all combine and it become something special. And back then, I didn't realize what I was doing was unique to me. I'm sure people have done it. People do it all the time. They combine different things, right? And they make their own version of something. But then there's me. There's Ashley, who's bringing something completely new to the table that nobody has ever seen before. And honestly, it's just a matter of time. I can't wait to push that out into the world so it can live, so it can not be suffocated in my room like it has been for the last 10 years or so, but it can breathe. And people can put their own effect on it, and it'll be more special that way, I feel, to me, knowing that it's being absorbed into the universe, that I'm not going crazy, that this is something I believe in, and other people who will appreciate that can believe in it too. Yeah, synth goes a long way, and for me, going to some synth concerts, like these days I'm all R&B majority, right? But when I was younger, like in my teens and stuff, I was synth all the way. So when in my 20s, when I got to go see like Pet Shop Boys, New Order, and some of the other like new wave groups, I was completely mind blown. Not because of the artists themselves, but just because of the production that went beneath, underneath that. I feel like this is my life. This is how I've been living my life since I was a teenager. It's nice to see these things happen in real life and be around people who really appreciate it. The way I think, I'm producer first. That's the way I think. Anytime I listen to a song, except for when it's R&B, because R&B is a little different. I do connect with the artist more when it comes down to something more soulful. When it's like synth and some other genres where it is, you could do well without the vocals, right? In fact, I prefer synth without the vocals, unless it's like Pet Shop Boys or something really cool. But like all the songs on like the music libraries online, like I'm so okay with not having any vocals on. but just yeah, the production. So I really do touch. I feel deeply, thinking like how producers are like authors in a way. You're starting from scratch. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know how the story is gonna unfold, and that's really special. I think it's special.